Oscar Guzman Flies Again is now one of the best ways to make money as a solo player in GTA Online due to the recent changes to payouts that Rockstar have made, especially to the Cayo Perico heist, Cluck and Bell farm raid, and the No Way Out missions. And in today's video, we're going to go over how to get the Oscar Guzman missions done as efficiently as possible. The week I'm making this video, Oscar Guzman is paying 2 times money for your first playthrough in the week, so you'll be getting roughly $2,250,000 upon completing these missions for the first time this week on hard mode. Even on normal mode, you're still going to get 1.5 million, so pretty insane. Before we get into the video, if you enjoy it or find it useful, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you guys are new. Let's go ahead and get started. Before you can get started with the Oscar Guzman missions, you will need to purchase a Mackenzie Field hangar, because that is where you're going to actually begin these missions. You're going to get that on the Maze Bank for Closures website on your phone on the internet. Now, I would always recommend you to do any kind of mission like this on hard mode, as you will get a 1.5 times bonus of money in RP at the end, as opposed to the 1.25x bonus on money in RP for doing them on normal mode. In the Oscar Guzman missions, doing them this way will result in getting paid roughly $300,000 extra once you complete all of the missions. To get started, we have the first mission called Up and Running. For this mission, there are 2 key aspects. One is destroying the radio tower, and the second one is damaging a plane so that it has to drop cargo. For this one, you are going to want to have a Heavy Sniper Mark II with explosive rounds, and you can shoot the base of the tower on the bottom left and the bottom right from the hill just behind Mackenzie Field, as you guys can see here in the gameplay. However, some people do report that this is kind of inconsistent, so if you can't manage to do this, just go up to the tower and destroy it up close and personal with sticky bombs or something like that. Then get down to the road, and if you have a vigilante or something else with homing missiles that's relatively fast, I recommend calling it and using this to chase down the plane. You can also damage the plane by shooting it with just a handheld weapon or an explosive heavy sniper as well. Then you're going to want to be in a vehicle and pick up the crates as they drop. And once you've done this, if you have a vigilante in particular and you're good with it, you can go right over the top of the hill, or you can use a motorcycle to do this very thing as well. If not, it is always very reliable and honestly probably just as quick to go all the way around the hill by the lighthouse using the road instead. And once you reach the little fishing village area, you are done this mission. Next up, we have the setups, and there are 4 total setup missions before the finale of this job, and you can do them in any order that you like, but it honestly doesn't really matter, so we're just going to do them in the order that they appear. Starting off with our first setup, the Mogul. For this mission, it is generally faster to take the Vellum, as slow as it is, to fly to the airfield where you will be stealing the Mogul from. Now, you can take a land vehicle, but I do recommend the plane. Now, if you land a bit off to the right-hand side of the airfield, there will be only a few guards that you will need to take out before you can go and get in the Mogul, like I do on screen here. Get inside it, and they're all going to get aggroed, and then you're going to take off. Now, the thing is, it doesn't really matter if you get spotted either way, because the enemies are going to aggro immediately after you start the plane, and there will be some jets dispatched to come after you. But you might as well avoid getting shot for as long as possible anyways. Now, once you take off, there's going to be 3 pyros that spawn behind you, and Oscar is going to recommend that you fly low. However, the higher up you fly, the faster you go in GTA Online. So I recommend getting up there. Now, not crazy high up, but higher than what is recommended anyway. As you're flying, you're going to want to be popping the countermeasures when you start to hear the lock-on sound to avoid the missiles actually hitting your plane. You're going to head towards the Mackenzie Field hangar, and Oscar is going to be shooting the jets down once you enter the little circle. However, occasionally Oscar doesn't actually do this, although this has mostly been fixed as far as I'm aware. Now, you may need to land and just take out the planes yourself sometimes, but once the planes are gone, you're going to continue to the next objective. Now you're going to be using the Mogul to drop bombs on enemy locations. Now, bombs in GTA Online typically drop down very fast, but they won't have much forward momentum, so I recommend staying relatively close to the ground when dropping bombs, and start unloading the bombs about 1 second before you're directly over the targets, and you should be fine, because luckily the bases are very easy to destroy. Now, if you have other players in the mission alongside you, they can go to these base locations themselves and help destroy them with sticky bombs or basically any other explosive. Once the bases are destroyed, return to Mackenzie Field hangar, and that is the Mogul setup complete. Next up, we have the Intel setup. This mission is going to be significantly easier with a fast rocket vehicle like the Vigilante, for example, and you're also going to want a scuba suit. So before you start the mission, you should equip one because you will not be able to change your outfit once you're actually inside the mission. Now, the mission is going to start with using a drone to hack 4 servers located at the docks. You're going to want to fly in through one of the holes in the roof and go to the bottom floor server. Then you're going to head to the opposite side of the building from that one and to the upper floor. You're going to shoot the guard and hack as fast as you can. Then you're going to exit pretty much immediately above you through the holes in the roof again. For the next building, head to the ocean side, shoot the guard, and hack the terminal. Then go around the west side of the building and sneak in while the guard is turned away. Hack that terminal, and once you're done, you can exit the drone immediately. Now, I did end up getting caught here, but it didn't seem to really matter because they didn't get a shot off on my drone, so that was pretty lucky. Now, once this is done, you're going to exit out of the drone station, and you're going to get in your vehicle and head towards the lighthouse, where you're going to find a ton of enemies that you will need to take out. Once they're gone, jump on the jet ski if you're solo, or the rib if you're with other players, and this is where having the scuba suit comes in. Now, you can pick one up off the ground anyways, but it's just easier to have it. The scuba suit makes you swim significantly faster and also allows you to stay underwater indefinitely, so you're definitely going to need one of these. Now, once you're inside the circle, you're going to want to head to the far side of it from the land and dive directly down, because this is where the cargo you will be retrieving is actually going to spawn. Now, be careful, there are sharks, and they can trigger a quick time event where you're going to have to spam a key in order to break free from the sharks. They are kind of annoying. I honestly didn't expect them to be as annoying as they were, but they are really annoying. Now, once you get down to the very bottom of the ocean, you are going to find the cargo, and it's going to light up with a little arrow above it when you get close enough, and it will also get marked on the minimap. However, if you were playing this mission with other people, the crates will actually be glowing. So they're going to be a lot easier to actually find. It did take me a good minute to find these crates, but once you get them, you're going to want to head back up to the surface, again dodging the sharks, and go back to land. When you get to land, there's going to be a bunch of guys there. You're going to want to take a few of them out if you need to, get in your vehicle, and head back to Mackenzie Field. You can also take this little shortcut that I took here if you feel confident, especially if you have a Vigilante as well, because you can just kind of boost over the highway and overall save a little bit of time getting to the Mackenzie Field hangar overall, I would say, but it is, optional. You can definitely just take the road as well. Honestly, it probably would be faster. And once you're back at the hangar, that mission is over. The next setup mission is the Iron Mule, and this setup is a lot easier again if you have a Vigilante or another fast vehicle, preferably with weapons. You're going to be going to the Redwood Lights track and planting signal jammers at 4 different radar stations, and you're only going to want to take out a few guards that are close to each radar that pose a higher threat to you. But if you soak some shots from the guards further away, you will be mostly fine. Just snack up as it's necessary. The reason you're doing this is because you're going to be trying to trigger getting an Iron Mule sent for backup to the guards, but to do this you're going to need to fill up a bar in the bottom right corner, and it gets full faster the more damage you do to the Eberhard assets that are around Redwood Lights. So keeping the jeeps and the other guys alive and stuff like that will help to speed this process up, as you won't get any credit for taking these out before the jammers are actually down. This is where the Vigilante in particular is excellent, as it comes with some of the best tracking missiles in the game while also being extremely fast for a vehicle that is so well armed. And once the Iron Mules arrive, you're going to activate the jammers. They're going to fall out of the sky. You're going to take one and then deactivate the jammers and then take back off. Now, you can also technically take the Insurgent that the Eberhard guys have, but it isn't really worth it. Simply fly the Iron Mule back to the hangar and you are done this mission. But if you do have multiple players, taking multiple Iron Mules isn't necessarily a bad idea, so maybe consider doing that. And we have the final prep mission, which is called Ammunition. You're going to take the Vellum down with Oscar down to Los Santos near the docks. Once you go over the big bridge that goes over the docks, you're going to jump out of the plane and you're going to land right beside the Iron Mule, and you're going to get into it. Now, once you get in the Iron Mule and take off, you're going to be heading out to a freighter that's out in the ocean, and you're going to be trying to steal the Titan 250D ammo, which is in a crate. You're then going to take that crate back to the drop-off location, which is in the arena parking lot. Now, if you have multiple players and multiple Iron Mules, you can use them right now to go and get multiple crates at a time, but the other crates that are on the freighter will give you additional upgrades. Now, there's one crate that will upgrade the second Mogul if you have one. There's also a heavy armor crate that will give all the players in the finale double health, and there's a weapon crate which will also give you combat MG Mark IIs with armor piercing rounds for the finale as well. However, really none of these are necessary beyond the Titan ammunition, especially if you're by yourself, so I recommend just getting the main crate for most players. Next up, we have the finale. For the finale, you're going to want to grab the homing launcher and get into the gun on Oscar's mogul, and he's going to fly towards the Titan, and you should start shooting immediately as you see it. If you have decent aim and you keep shooting as much as possible as often as you can, it'll typically go down in about like 4 to 6 minutes, but if you have multiple players and the mogul upgrades, it can take as little as just under 2 minutes to take it down because there's just simply so much more firepower. And once the plane is going down, it will land at the Sandy Shores airfield. When you get there, you will have to take out some helicopters and enemies before you can begin repairing the engine. Now, before you've started, you should make sure to thin out the enemies, and when you're doing the repair, the best practice is to just take it slow and try not to mess up. You're then going to have to defend the Titan for a minute while Oscar brings the ammunition crate over, where you will have to load up the plane with ammo. Enemies will attack you during this, and you can actually die during this part, so you will want to pay attention to your health, and you can exit this to shoot some guys if you need to. However, the enemies seem to have pretty terrible aim at this part, so you should be able to get the plane at least mostly loaded. And once you do, you're going to get in the pilot seat and you are going to take off. Now, once you're in the air, you're going to want to make sure any future targets that are coming up on you are going to be on the left side of the plane, and you're going to want to be pretty low in the plane as well, because the gun camera is very dark and blurry and it is very limited range of motion. So you're going to want to take your time with your shots when you get to the targets. Now, there's going to be 2 MOCs to start off with, and then you're going to go out to the submarine and destroy that as well. And finally, the last thing you're going to be taking out is the train with the Eberhard shipments on it. If you start with the locomotive, the train itself, the entire thing is going to come to a halt, potentially making it even easier to take everything else on the train out. Now, once you've done this, fly back to Mackenzie Field and you have done the Oscar Guzman Flies Again missions. If you're solo, upon completion, you'll be paid a minimum of $750,000, typically more like $800,000. And if you do this on hard mode with Rockstar's new weekly first time completion bonus, even if you're watching this not on bonus money, it is going to be about $1,125,000 for the first time you complete this, the first time each week. It should be relatively easy to complete these missions in under 1 hour, which will also help you get the career progress completion for these missions. Overall, I think these missions were pretty fun and a good storyline with great pay as well. If you found this guide useful, please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you guys are new. If you're looking for any other guides, I have a bunch in the description of this video, so check that out. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.